stick them with new taxes.
Johnson warned the alternative could be property tax hikes, garbage fees, or a grocery tax. Reverend Jesse Jackson is out of intensive care at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago. The 84-year-old civil rights leader, diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder called PSP, remains stable and will continue receiving care there. And Cynthia Erivo will open this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The Wicked Star joins Busta Rhymes, Sierra, Kool and the Gang, Lil Jon, and more. Watch on NBC Thanksgiving Day at 8:30 a.m. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
If someone asks,
Yeah!
let them know you listen to WBOK. Here we go! The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Whoa, now, what's happening, good people? What's going on with you? How you doing? How you doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a good day. It's nice outside. Make you want to stay outside and just enjoy the. I just think like this time of the year is my time.
It's too hot.
And it's getting ready to get cold.
Too hot.
It's getting ready to get cold.
Ice cream man passed in front of my house today. I almost want to grab a dollar. Hey, ice cream!
You need Jesus for real, for real.
I almost did it.
So you don't like this time of the year? It's too hot for you for real?
I love this time of year. I just hate hot weather.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I hate hot weather to the point where you can't breathe. So, and I think a lot of that is over the summertime. I've been here over 30 years, and I still ain't used to it.
I've been here practically my whole life.
Me too.
Except for when I lived, back and forth to California during the summer.
But I just can't deal with that 100 and 115 and with a feels like temperature of 100 and something else. I'm like, No.
It's the humidity that does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tolerate humidity.
I went home. I never forget my first time that I went home and got used to the weather. I don't have humidity.
Yeah.
And at nighttime it's, 50, 60 degrees. And I came back here, and the minute I got out that plane, that humidity smacked you in the face.
Well, when I moved back here.
Lord, welcome home.
When I moved back here, the whole time I was in L.A., never had a cold, never had a sniffle or a sneeze or anything.
Right.
I got here, as soon as I stepped off the plane, I sneezed.
Yeah.
I said, yup, I'm back.
You got it. You got it. But this is home. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downing it. This is home, and I love home. But the weather to me is something. Are we up? We on live? What am I looking at?
Yeah, we're online.
Yeah. Okay. It's two of them, so I got to figure out which one is up.
Don't get confused.
I'm confused. So, my questioning today, and I don't know if you saw this. I'm trying to find somebody that did it. The only person that I heard do it last night on Stephen Colbert, he did it, and then this morning they did it on The View. Sonny Hostin did it on The View, and that was, they said, we don't know about the Senate and the House signing unanimously, other than Clay Higgins from Louisiana with this dumb butt,
Dummy.
signing, to release the Epstein files. And I was like, And then Sonny Hostin said, wait a minute. What's the bad part about that is that we don't know if they're going to say that part of those files that need to be redacted need to go through the DOJ before they can be released. I said, yes. And then I did like this.
We did talk about it.
Huh?
We did talk about it.
I pat myself on the back. I said, I just wanted y'all to know that they have the right to do that. And he is too gung-ho to sign those files. Mm-hmm. And they keep saying that Trump's name has come up 1,600 times in those files.
Repeat it with me. I can't even talk right now.
16.
Repeat it with me. 1,600.
1,600 times in those files. And I was like, they're not going to release those files because they're going to say, oh, it's an investigation, da-da-da-da. But does not mean that Epstein estate, because they got a copy, can't release those files.
And you know who else has a copy?
Unredacted.
You know who else has a copy and said
Elon.
that she will release the redacted files if they don't?
She's going to release
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
unredacted.
Unredacted
Mhm.
files. And she said if they redact it, she is releasing the unredacted.
So what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying is she's not saying she's going to release them. What she's going to do is stand on the House floor and call the names of all those folks that were engaged in some type of dirty sex with Epstein. And she's going to release the names. And the reason why is because she can without perjury. She can do it without anybody pressing charges against her because she's going to have immunity on the House floor.
She just better watch out in other ways. She should watch out.
And I was saying to myself, boy, they don't know what they didn't. And look, I'm not a Marjorie Taylor fan. I don't care what she's done. I'm not
neither.
a fan. But if she does this, she's got another term. If she does that, I think that she'll get another term.
Well, do you think that the MAGAs would turn against her?
Don't matter. The MAGAs that she serves
Mhm.
are the MAGAs that are saying release the files.
Mhm.
If she goes along with Trump, she's got a problem. Because her percentages of folks, as far as the polls are concerned, that are saying release them, are greater than those MAGAs that are for Trump. Now, she is getting death threats. She's getting death threats. But I still think that's a little small, you know.
Yeah, I mean, she has 24-hour protection, doesn't she?
Does she? Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No, only for the House, it'd be the House Speaker, the President, and the Senate, the Speaker of the Senate.
All I can say is I hope that she has remote control starter on her vehicle. Check that sucker every time.
You think they're going to blow up the...
Be careful. I'm gonna be on the 3rd floor checking my car right now. Boom. Okay, it's good.
Only you.
Yeah.
Only you.
You gotta think out the box.
That is not thinking out of the box. That is watching too many spy movies. That's what...
Hey, James Bond taught us a lot.
Oh, God.
James Bond definitely taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Octo, you know what?
So let me ask the question, and I guess my question would be to the folks. Do they think that they are going to release these files that we haven't seen? Now, let's make sure that we say it clearly, that we haven't seen already, unredacted. Are they going to call people's names, including, if so, Bill Clinton? What you think?
I say if you're part of it, you got to pay the piper.
He said he ain't worried about it. He said he ain't do nothing. Now, that's what he said. Now, the former, I forgot his whatchamacallit, but he's already, and he's on a tour doing stuff with AI. He took himself off the committee, and he has already apologized. So to me, if you ain't guilty,
Why you apologize?
why you apologizing? Good Lord.
Exactly.
Yes, Jesus. But anyway,
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to send
Oh,
it
okay.
to you. Mm-hmm. But go ahead. I'm thinking to myself, is this file so big that everybody wants to know? Is this a distraction? Because I think, now this is my other personal opinion, I think that New Orleanians ourselves, me, you, your cousins, they cousins, better start paying attention today on what's going to happen next week in this city.
Yep.
Number one, we out the consent decree, but we still have to go by some codes or some type of leadership issues for the police. And then we're going to, they say, starting Monday. Now, Ann Kirkpatrick has already said, I don't know if this is going to be on Monday. I don't know if it's going to happen on Friday. But do I think that they're coming? Yes, I do. What's wrong with you? Is that Gerod trying to? You know, I could take him.
You know they're listening to you down
I
there.
know. That's why I do it. So, you think they're coming Monday?
They're supposed to arrive here.
Y'all got to think about something. It's too many coincidences happening here. It's too many coincidences.
From what was said on the news was that they arrive Monday and they start sweeping on the 1st.
Sweeping what? Now you got you got too many different entities coming. You got CBC the Border Patrol who can't really do anything past a certain point as far as with their with them not being in conjunction with the border. So if you're 100 miles from the Border Patrol can't really do anything with arresting folks. But you got CBC, you got HSI, and you're going to have those other federal folks that are coming in here to look around, and they're going to be like, we're going to get them. Like, yeah, you're going to get them.
There are already fake photographs of trucks downtown already.
Well, I'm already telling folks, they're already here. So they're not coming in here to do intelligence work, and they have not been in looking around in the first place. I'll never forget this. This is something that really happened, and a lot of my listeners that still listen today, they were there when this happened. We held a protest. Came down Canal Street. Donatus King was there. Let me see. Who else was there? W.C. Johnson was there. There's a lot of folks. And we came from the end of Canal Street by the aquarium and Canal Place all the way down and turned and went and had a reunion of folks. I mean, it was a large number of folks protesting the way that we were being handled with the police department. And we had it right there in front of City Hall. We had the young lady who was with the Yaya kids. She was there. I'm trying to think who else was there. It was a lot of folks that came down Canal Street and protested our law enforcement. And I was, Howard, you was there? Howard was there. Howard said he was there. How long ago was that, Howard? I still have some of those folks. I remember Mookie took some pictures. You remember Mookie? You don't remember Mookie?
No, I remember.
Mookie was one of the best photographers the city
Mookie.
had.
Okay, yeah.
And Mookie would always take photos of stuff that's happening on the street. He would get all the second lines. He would get the Indians. Well, Mookie took the pictures of us. So I still have those photos that Mookie gave me, because Mookie gave me all those photos. Thank God he did, because we wouldn't have a remembrance of them at all. But I got some of them on my Facebook page. So the police was scared that we were going to have the whole city show up. So not only did we have, and then, I was getting death threats from folks that would leave, y'all need to get a job and stop acting like y'all doing something, da-da-da. So we had the racist folks that were trying to tell us what to do too. So at that time, who was police chief? I think that Surpass had just taken over to be police chief. And Surpass was scared that something was going to happen. So Surpass had one of his folks from SRT, the special, one of the special units. I said SRT, but it was SOD, Special Operations Division. He was the captain. And he met me at the end of Canal Street, and he said, "How you doing?" I said, "All right." He said, "I need to talk to you for a minute." I'm like, "Okay." Al Mims was there too. And, Al, old boxer. I was like, "You ain't talking to him, but you can say to him, you can say to us." I said, no, I got him. Al was ready to fight.
I'm going to knock you out.
Yep. So I went over and talked to him. I was like, "What's going on?" He said, "Listen, you got death threats." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you've got death threats, and we need to protect you." He said, "If you don't mind, I would like to insert in this protest one of my undercovers. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's just gonna walk beside you. He carrying, but he's gonna walk beside you." I was like, "All right." How come he's a white guy? I was like, boy, you really stick out in this crowd. But not only that, we had as we were going down Canal Street, they had intelligence from NOPD with a car going down the trolley, the streetcar, darked out windows, the whole deal. They pull up on us and roll down the window, and then you see the big lens cameras coming out taking pictures. Leon was there. Leon said, "Don't worry about it, G. I got this." Leon would go out the line and go stand in front of the car and take pictures of them. That was funny, but it was serious, and it was very serious. And not only that, the whole motorcycle squad, NOPD, led us down the street. It was amazing look, and I still have some of those photos that Mookie took. And I was like, Mookie, man, this is something. But I just remember that, folks showed up for that one, and they weren't playing. And that was when we were looking at having that consent decree to stretch out some more. But I remember that like it was yesterday. Nothing happened. It was good. And when we got to City Hall, the Inspector General's office was out there, and Dr. Cowan and his crew. Who else was out there? We had a whole bunch of folks just watching.
So how long were you looking over your shoulder?
Huh?
How long were you looking over your shoulder?
I still am. I see some of them folks. I see some of them folks. But you know what? I did it, and we can do it again. I'm just making sure that what got to me, and this is going to sound really bad, but it's the truth. What got to me about this whole scenario of who's leading the way, there was questions that was coming up from those folks that looked like me and looked like you that were implanted within the movement to make it look like, why y'all following him? Who made you the leader? Da-da-da-da. And I stood up on stage and said, this ain't about me. This ain't about what I can do or whatever. I'm showing you what I can do. And I know who these folks are. If you really involved in this, if you really want to show, you lead the way next time. None of them showed up. None of them showed up. But I knew what they were doing. They were infiltrating to be that by the dough. To go back and tell Mr. Charlie what was
Get your hand out of my pocket.
No, going back to tell Mr. Charlie what was going on. So, that's what they call them, sitting by the dough. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't say the whole thing. And that's why I always say, unless you are willing to allow them to infiltrate you and give somebody else the information, don't think that nobody is not one of them spooks. Because they will go back and tell it quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then when it get back to you, ain't had nothing to do with what you wanted to do. So, but anyway, we got to take our first break. We'll take our break. We'll come back. Have some more conversation in just a minute, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
New Orleans never sleeps, and neither does WBOK. Now, every voice, every moment, and every show is in your pocket. Search WBOK Media wherever you get podcasts. Download, share, rate us 5 stars. Because when you support us, you amplify Black voices and the New Orleans culture.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule, no excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu. and make your next move today.
It's tea time, New Orleans. Join the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce for the 12th Annual City Classic Golf Tournament Friday, November 21st at the Joseph Bartholomew Golf Course located at 6514 Congress Drive. Registration and breakfast start at 8:30 a.m. with a 10 a.m. shotgun start. And ladies with the drive tea time at 10:30 a.m. Don't miss this annual tradition of excellence on the green, brought to you by the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Ever notice that everyone always wants more of a good thing? More rewards, more savings, more special offers? Well, when you become a new member of the Fuel Rewards program at Shell, that's exactly what you get, more. Join today to save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents on the second, and 30 cents on the third. Then enjoy everyday savings afterwards. Want more? Then head to Shell where members get more.
Offer valid from 4/21/25 through 10/31/25 at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com/join25 for more information.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. Today, Thursday, man. This week went by fast, but not fast enough for some. I'm hoping that everybody is getting around and hoping that if you know somebody that's in need for some holiday food. We've had a couple of folks on start talking about giving away turkeys and things of that sort. You heard Kelly yesterday. She was on with us, and the ladies are doing things to make sure that they are fed on Tuesday. So if you want to make sure that you can get over there, get a turkey or some dressing and all those different things, they're looking for the first 100 to get over there to get the turkeys and the dressing, and they can get the other stuff as well. But I need you to make sure that you show up, all right? If you need to know, go to my Facebook page. It's there. I put it up on mine. I put it up on my Facebook page so that you'll know where to go, address and everything. Go to Gerard G. Man Stevens to check it out. The other thing, too, that I want to talk about is, y'all, conspiracy theory is ringing in my head. Ringing in my head. Why is that, Gerard? The reason why it's ringing in my head is coincidence is a factor. Is it or is it not? Is there such thing as coincidence in the scenario of different things that is happening? Number one, we have been told that we have these folks coming to town to start getting those that are undocumented all together. We're going to arrest them and send them back to where they belong. So get ready for that. The other thing, too, we just got out of the consent decree on yesterday. ICE is supposed to be here on Monday. I think they're already here. I don't know, but I think they're already here. Because they got to have areas that they're going to hit. And I'm telling you, intelligence is the way those guys go. And they are probably already have the areas of town that they're looking for. I went to Subway today just to get my sandwich for lunch. And I was like, what in the world? What's going on in here? They're saying that they had a Latino guy that operates that, an Egyptian guy that operates that Subway, and he's looking out for ICE or HSI or whoever to show up. And if they do show up while you're in there, he's going to start blowing the whistle and then letting you out the back door. I was like, well, if everybody in here know, they know too. So when they pull up, if he blow the whistle, y'all run out the back door. It looked like what they was, yep. I know. And they wanted to say, wow. So guess who showed up for lunch today? All of my Latino friends was in there today at Subway, ordering subs and sitting down and eating because they scared. So I went with one of my friends, and she darker than me. And she looked at me and she was like, guess who fits in? I was like, you think so? She said, yeah, they probably try to get you too. You fit in. And then started cracking up laughing. I was like, Pablo is here. There I am. I said, I'd be the deterrent while they're getting away. Let them know that I'm not that person. So, do you think that we going to be out there protesting the fact that ICE is here to pick up the Latino friends? Are blacks going to be out there protesting? We got 80%, 70% African-American base here. Do y'all think we're going to be out there protesting?
I hate to say it like this, but here we go.
Huh?
I hate to say it like this, but here we go. Our own people don't support our own people. What makes you think they're going to support someone else?
So you don't think we're going to be out there protesting?
Mm-mm. And it's already been said that it's best not for our people.
Well, I said we need to stay out of it.
Yeah.
And the reason I said we need to stay out of it. Now, there's somebody that also, Dr. Shepard went against me on that one. She said, G, no, I'm not with you on that one. I said, I don't think that we should stay in it. We should get involved because of the fact that, when we need help and they call us the brown people, just like they call them the brown people, we don't get their support. So if you're going to go out here and be with the Latino folks, are you kicking yourself in the you-know-what? So I was like, They voted for, that's what they tell me, they voted for Trump.
Yep.
And he tried to kick y'all out of the daggone country. Even if you ain't no criminal, you ain't do nothing wrong, you just trying to make a living, I think that you still have a problem. He trying to kick you out the country too there, Pablo. So, black folks, are you going to stand for it? Because I was having this debate with Dr. Shepard. And Dr. Shepard said, I think we should, but what do you think? 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422.
I put it like this. They want us to stand for everybody else, but when has everybody else stood for us? You have people here and there, but when have they ever stood for us?
I mean, that's been the question.
Yeah.
That's been the question. Have they really stood beside us when we've been having issues or protesting or out here saying, hey, no, But yet we are concluded in the, I don't know if concluded is a good word to use. I put it this way. We are all considered as black and brown people. No. We black. I'm blacker than black. You might be brown because you got a little melanin in your skin, but your culture ain't like mine. But we got some things in common. And most of the time we look at a lot of Latino folks that live here, you're not accepted. God, it's gonna sound bad, but they're not even accepted in those neighborhoods that are considered white.
Yep.
They usually have their neighborhood somewhere close, if not entrenched, in black neighborhoods.
If you look at some of the photos from back in the 30s and 40s, you will see. If you look back at some of the photos from the 30s and 40s, you'll see in big letters: no Mexicans, no blacks, no Japanese, no Jews.
Yep. Let's see.
So what makes you think all of a sudden they accepting you?
All right. Let's see what Jason say. Jason,
What's happening, G?
what's going on with your big money?
Man, G, you took the words out of my mouth, brother. You said it. I've been asking this question. I have people asking me the same thing you asked him. Like, they literally showed up and voted. November.
Mm-hmm.
We did our job. We did our job.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the statistics, black men and women showed up. Latino men and women showed up, and who they voted for.
Yep.
I was talking to a coworker, and I let him know, because he kept saying the black and brown. He's a Spanish guy.
Mm-hmm.
Black people, brown people need to stick together. I said, why you don't go talk to your uncles and your aunts that voted for him? Why you talking to me? We did our job. And it seemed like it gets under his skin more and more. But one thing I will say, I have dated Latino women. I have been around Spanish people. Let's all be honest. A lot of Spanish people don't care for black.
Oh, no. Right.
Let's just be real.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care for black. They feel like because their skin tone is a little lighter and they work harder, they're going to be accepted by a certain community.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding out what we have been saying for years.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't going to happen. They want to be like the Irish and the Italians back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s when they got drafted into the white community. It's not going to happen, my Latino brothers and sisters.
But, Jason, as I look at who's out here protesting, and look, I'm one to watch the news, and I'm a news junkie. I know that. But if I look at the ones that's out here protesting, it's the Latino families along with the whites. Now, are the whites the ones that's protesting because they're like you're being treated unfairly? Or are you protesting because of the fact that you're getting ready to lose your good housekeeper, your child's nanny, a person that does work, cuts your grass, da-da-da? Are you really caring for these folks, or is there an ulterior motive?
I go with BG. I'm going to go with B. G, I live across the lake. There's a Spanish family in my neighborhood. The husband has a contracting service. And I'm talking to him, and he's talking about how his business is suffering. He's talking about all of these things. And gee, I just said one thing, but you voted for this man.
Right.
Like, you voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
And what gets me about him, and he falls in that category, him, his wife, and his family. All their kids go to school in Covington. They want their kids to grow up around white. They feel like because of the skin tone they're going to be. And I'm just like, man, this about to be an ugly ending for you, bro.
So I'm thinking to myself as I listen to and I hear the pleas that are coming up in these different neighborhoods, and maybe it's me, maybe that's just what I see on news clips. I don't really see none of us sticking up for them. Do you?
I don't at all, because we all figuring out there's no such thing as a black and brown coalition. And we did our job in November. Gee, once that election was called, me and my wife looked at each other and said, we all for 4 years, man. We did our job.
Mm-hmm.
White women, don't call us. We came, remember?
Yep.
We came, y'all still voted for him. Latino community, don't call us. We did our job.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, that's the best thing I tell everybody. Hey, we did our job. What we talking about?
Now, I do think within the next midterm election, I think this thing going to switch around altogether.
Oh.
And
Gee, it's going
Not only do I
be a
think it's going to
wipeout.
switch around all together, I also think that Trump and Texas really messed up because they thought they were going to be able to gerrymander the rigging of how many votes that they need to have the majority, and the federal courts have already said nope, that's not going to happen, and it already happened now in California. So guess what? There may be a supermajority of Democrats coming out of California because they're going to have 4-5 more seats.
Next year, November, I think that thing is going to be a bloodbath. But, and I hate to say this, G, Democrat Party we talking about. You know, the Republicans going to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what the Democrats going to do. We just seen it with the shutdown. But I think Democrats going to sweep it all.
I think that they're going to see a big change because the MAGAs, to me, are getting just as tired. And when January roll around here, and a lot of those MAGAs, along with the Democrats, can't get the health care that they need, and they start dying off, baby, it's getting ready to be some mess.
Oh, thank you, G. And they're about to find out about this big, beautiful bill as it starts kicking in January, February, going up into November. Oh, that big, beautiful bill is going to be on display. But my thing is, will the Democrats capitalize and paint this picture properly?
Not unless they get some balls behind them.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, G.
All right, Jace, always good, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, too. All right, so now, who is going to switch up with the releasing of these files, Epstein files? Are we going to hear it? I want y'all to hear Sonny Hostin today on The View, and I was like, yes, Sonny, yes, as she broke something down. Now, we got to join them in conversation, but listen to Sonny Hostin's explanation. Everybody stop what you're doing. Pay attention. Listen to her explanation as I take my victory lap. All right? Go ahead.
He's bombing boats in Venezuela.
This feels like
He's a liar.
I think this hits at the heartstrings of his supporters in a way that that's just different.
More complicated. These are files he can release.
And these are these are the files from a child predator and a child predator ring. I mean, you're right. If we can't be bipartisan on that, what can we be bipartisan on? But I'm skeptical, Joy. You know, you mentioned what if they fiddled with it? What if they redacted it? I said it yesterday. You know, there's Pam Bondi is allegedly investigating the Democrats in the file. When there is a grand jury investigation, the Department of Justice cannot release any files that are related to the investigation. And remember, Donald Trump called for that investigation. So, in my view, because he is such an abhorrent president, because he is such an abnormal president, because there are no rules in this presidency, because it's really just a monarchy, because it's a corrupt presidency, in my view, I just can't imagine that a man that was mentioned over 1,000 times in these Epstein estate files would allow this to be released unredacted. I just don't buy it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, that's wait. Let me ask you something.
Now, unredacted, what's that going to be? Investigation. What does that be? We're going to make sure that they're not released until we go through them, and that's going to be it. Watch. Say it.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Hey, listen, I'm doing all right. My concern more is with black people, with the police department coming off this consent decree, and along a little bit with the ICE, because you know some of our youngsters, can mouth off a little bit, so they may want to mind themselves. Perhaps their parents and grandparents and uncles or whoever. You know, we all have to be careful. You know, that's my concern.
Well, that's what we said yesterday. I mean, that's the same thing we said yesterday. Not only that, I think that we got to name the number of organizations that need to be able to say that to the parents and to the young folks so that they will get used to it. Because remember, we've been under consent decree for the last 12 years. Some of these kids, they weren't 12 years old when this happened. So
right.
how
now,
many grew up with
I'm gonna be And then as far as ICE with the Hispanic people, I'm going to be very blunt. We have a newly elected mayor that's Hispanic. She should be concerned with that. You have a good day.
All right, brother. All right, good to talk to you. Thanks, Ed. Yeah, I mean, there needs to be some type of education for our community and what's to be. And I'm just saying, it needs to be said by all important entities in our community, whether it's your church, whether it's your school. Because remember something, we started teaching our children what to do, how to connect with the police when you get pulled over. And because the reason that I think many folks had said it to their own children, and the example of that said, hey, I just want you to come home. I want you to come home. So, needs to be done. Needs to be done. Kevin?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, what you say?
Yeah, I totally agree with Brother Cedric. I think this consent decree and what's going on with ISIS, I think it was all part of a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old enough to remember before we was on consent decree, how the police department handled us as African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people remember, but I do remember, and I was a very part of that. When I mean a part of that, just walking up down the street with the stop and frisk. They had, they just did what they wanted to do to us as African Americans, male and female. So I think by the timing of everything, it just looked like it was all part of the plan.
And I'm the head of, I don't know if you knew that or not, but I'm going to make you a member. As of today, you have been knighted as a member of the Conspiracy Theory Club. Thank you for joining, and we love your patronage. Appreciate you very much there, Kevin, because I just don't think that there's such thing as a coincidence of this magnitude. And you're right. Going back to those days where not only were you a part of it, but I had plenty of those young men at that time calling me up, telling me that, man, I just didn't appreciate that being stopped. And then they make us put our hands on the hot hood of a vehicle.
Absolutely. And not only that, G, they were doing other things. They were taking our shoes off, taking our socks off, checking to see if we got certain things to do. They just was violating us as human beings.
Wow.
So it's going to be very interesting how they're going to treat our youngsters, because they already demonize our youngsters, because all they talk about is us on the news, is our youngsters, how we are doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to ISIS part of it, I think as African Americans, and I use that word very loose. I think we need to pay attention to that, because of how they're going to treat them is necessarily how they're going to treat us. What I mean by that is the government believes that those individuals, when I say those individuals, I'm talking about the Hispanic brothers and sisters, they believe they have somewhere to send them. Where are they going to send the African Americans? They can't send us back to Africa because the Africans don't want us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they want our money, but they do not want us to be a part of the population of Africa. So where are they going to send us? All they ever done to us was throw us in the penal system. Are they going to do that again? I think not, because it's starting to see when they're us not being in the penal system, they can tax us more about us working and doing other things rather than throwing us in and have a corporation making money like they're making money off our brothers and sisters now by feeding them beds. So they're going to treat us differently when it comes to ISIS than they'll treat those Hispanic people. Am I going to be a part of what I mean by that is standing with those brothers and sisters? I'm going to say it, and I'm going to be very clear. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason why I'm not going to do it is we have a track record of us being unused as Americans in this country,
right.
And they have never stood up with us. Never. We have been through the 80s and the 90s when they have drugs in our communities. Last time I checked, they was there. Now I can remember before Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, it was a small population of Hispanics, but they still were here.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions, and I'm with you on that. But I think we also need to organize to find out what organizations, whether it's church, school, home, whatever, that's going to be talking about these issues. Look, Kevin, I got to take my break, man, but I appreciate the call because you made up some very, very, very good stuff. So,
have a good day.
Thank you, my brother. All right, everybody hold tight. We're coming back. James coming up. Everybody hold tight.
Hello, friend. Tavis Smiley here with a special announcement. You can catch my show at a new time. Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Same great topics, same great guests, same great conversations, just a little earlier in the day. It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
New Orleans, this is Councilman Freddie King III. This holiday season, we're inspiring the city by giving back with our annual Inspire the City Turkey and Ham Giveaway.
And this is Kim Charbonnet of the Sixth Ward Steppers. Please join us on Tuesday, November 25th at Alice Hart Charter School at 10 a.m., and then we'll be at Mahalia Jackson Theater for 2.
Each vehicle will receive a turkey or ham, a perishable food package, and limited gas cards will be available while supplies last.
We're coming together to make sure families across New Orleans feel the love this Thanksgiving.
Because when we come together, we inspire the city.
If someone asks,
Yeah!
let them know you listen to WBOK. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. All right, James, what's happening with you?
Hey, what you say, man?
What's going on?
Good afternoon, good evening. Good evening to everyone.
Yes, sir. What you say?
I just wanted to say I echo shared sentiment. And there was a show that used to come on, I'm not sure if it still comes on, where the guys talk about the law.
Yeah, you and the law.
I think you need to have those guys on your segment, brother, just to talk to us. They need to be on every segment, morning and afternoon, evening. You know, they need to be on and they need to be sharing whatever information they can to help us combat what's coming down the pipeline. Also, I would also like to echo the brother's sentiment that just left before the break. Our kids are you know, without panicking, because I think the chief has been doing a really good job, and she said a whole lot in her last press conference that I'm not thinking that a lot of people paid attention to. She does not even know the scope of what's going on with ICE in this general area. Now, I ain't talking about St. Tammany. I ain't talking about Chalmette. I ain't talking about St. Bernard. I ain't talking about Baton Rouge. I'm talking about here. She doesn't even know. So it's wrong for us to jump out the window and holler, the mayor need to be concerned and tell us something when these people are not flying by the rules. So if you beat me up, I just need to know what grounds I got to defend myself, and then what can I do after I get beat up. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be able to protect myself on all fronts. I do know the first rule of law is to not say nothing. That goes with every facet of our lives. So I ain't saying nothing. You can pull up on me with your ICE tactics, but I'm not saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You put your hands on me wrong and handle me, I ain't saying nothing until I get to my lawyer. And then we gonna talk. So I'll say I do know that. We still protected under the first and the fourth. So.
Well, they don't think so there, James. I do have to tell you, they're going to arrest, because, look, we live in a city where the melting pot, we live in a city that's a little bit different than North Carolina. We got a little bit different than Chicago. we have a
Gerard,
multifaceted number. Hold
PTSD.
on, let me finish. I'll let you say everything you said. So listen to me for a minute.
Yeah.
And that is, we have buckets of folks in different areas, and those folks aren't spread out all over New Orleans. If you look at the big Latino population in New Orleans, it's not really New Orleans. It's Kenner.
Right. It's Kenner.
So, is that also
spreading
going to
out.
involve Jefferson Parish?
But they're spreading out. Look, we could tell you. We could tell you. We got one or two families like near us.
Yeah, but they don't forget something. They have a quota that they're trying to get to. So, you can get the one or twos, but trust me, they're going for the plethora. They bring in their whole van, vehicles, and all of that with them.
I could dig it.
And now, also, don't think it's just the Latinos. We also have, and I brought this up yesterday. I think I was talking to you when we talked about it. We also have a bunch of folks that's coming in from other parts of the world.
Yeah, Haiti. We got Haitians.
That's what we were talking about yesterday. Remember?
We got a whole bunch of black Latinos in this.
You got them too.
I'm talking about people that look African and like us. We got a whole bunch of black Latinos in this city, bro.
Yep.
So it's just, I mean, I'm not above like I said, we have a few that live near in our neighborhood. They just starting to trickle in. You dig?
Well, don't forget too that you also have the Creoles that may look like they Latino.
Last name, and they talk all like we talking right now.
Talk the Cajun talk as well as English.
Yeah, but that. I mean, but see, that's the genius of these big brain white folks. I think they don't realize, or maybe they do, and they just don't care, because I really believe it's all for the for-profit prison system. That's the first thing Judge Landry talked about when he got in the chair. I'm about to arrest all you Negroes.
So, but let me ask about this, because we saw, and they demonstrated when one of theirs got killed from going over to fight in that war with Israel. So we saw something that in this neighborhood on the West Bank that I had not seen ever, and that was the number of Palestinians that live here. Remember, they were riding their vehicles.
I didn't realize on the West Bank they had a big Palestinian population.
Bro, go down Wall Boulevard. Go down Wall Boulevard at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, they got a big Palestinian population in Metairie.
Yep.
Huge.
Go down Wall Boulevard on the West Bank. Good, don't they? Go down Wall Boulevard on the West Bank at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They got their own section where they are educating the kids.
Right on. Okay. Well, see, there you go. And that's the part, like, I make fun of Kevin sometimes, but Kevin get on here and say the same thing over and over again. And I'm going to keep it real. Sometimes I agree, and sometimes I be wondering what the hell he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. We got to grow up, and when we educate our own, when we hospitalize our own. When I went to Miami, bro, and there's a whole Jewish section, and it's all schools, hospitals, police. They got their own fire department. That blew my mind.
So
that blew my mind.
What bothers me about this whole scenario, no matter if we're talking about New Orleans or any other city, what I do not see is them rounding up the blue-eyed blonde males or females that are coming into this country illegally, that are coming from Canada, that are coming from Denmark, that are coming from all these other countries, but you don't have the look of the brown people. You have the blue eyes and blonde hair, but you still illegal.
Big fact. Why is this, though? My best friend to this day, since about 8 or 9 years old when we first met, Grandpa, we call him Papa. Papa used to come home from work on that river and put his hat down on the ground, and white folks on Canal Street would just throw him money in his hat because they thought he was just poor and destitute. Papa had more money in his sock than he had probably on one of them that tipped him. or give him some. He just take the hat off to wipe the sweat off his brow, but because he look white.
Mm-hmm.
You dig?
Yeah.
So they about to make a whole bunch of mistakes, man. They don't know what they're dealing with when they come here.
I just hope people are ready for it, and I really don't think that they are.
No. I get you could do that somewhere else, because they got a whole bunch of people that's a Perez, bro. You could get a Perez, and they might be black. They might be really New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't know, bro. This is crazy to me. But like I said, I think that we should start with them people that used to have that show. You know, they can come on and bring it down to us what our rights are, you know, civilly, because I think it's a civil thing is what the chief was pointing out.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. There's a difference, y'all. And that's how they get us. We don't know what we don't know. You dig? So, all right, bro. That's all. I'm gonna bag out the way, bro. I love everyone. Stay safe. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we need to get the whistles
nothing if you
too.
ain't got to. Huh?
Maybe we need to get the whistles too, because they just started in Chicago. That when they see them coming and pulling up ice, that everybody that's in the neighborhood area start blowing their whistle, let you know that they're coming.
Anything we can do to draw attention to injustice, we should be on. Yeah. We should be. I can't wait to hear what Aaron got to say, man.
We'll see.
Gonna say some fire.
All right. Thank you, James.
All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Later.
All right. We need to take the break. All right, let's take the break here. We'll take the break, get news in here to talk to some more people, let you know what's happening around the world, and we'll come back with more of your telephone calls in just a minute, y'all, because they talking online, boy. They talking online. Yes, indeed. More coming up right here at WBOK.
Campus of Xavier University. WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The UN has approved a plan for Gaza reconstruction, creating a Trump-led board of peace to oversee government and rebuilding.
Today's resolution represents another significant step towards a stable Gaza that will be able to prosper and an environment that will allow Israel to live in security.
That's U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz. Russia and China abstained, and Hamas rejected the plan, saying it fails to meet Palestinian needs. Alabama gets an F in maternal health with high infant and maternal mortality and preterm births. March of Dimes says Black women face the greatest disparities, calling for urgent policy changes to improve care. And Robin Roberts is producing a biopic and documentary on the late Roberta Flack, celebrating the Grammy-winning singer's life and legacy. Flack passed away earlier this year. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Ooh, you got me right as I yawned. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this time of the day, but as it gets dark quicker, I start yawning. I don't know what that is. I guess my body clock wrong. But anyway, I just sent you something too because I want to tell everybody about this. There's a story that is out now that has questioned and also made a ruling about the deployment of National Guard troops in the nation's capital. A federal judge on today, her name is U.S. District Judge Gia Cobb, concluded that President Donald Trump's military takeover of Washington, D.C. violates the Constitution and illegally intrudes on local officials' authority to direct law enforcement in the district. She put her order on hold for 21 days to allow for an appeal. But this District of Columbia attorney, General Brian Schwab, sued to challenge the guard deployments. He asked the judge to enjoin the White House from deploying guard troops without the mayor's consent. Now, is that something that can come down here? I think, again, here's my conclusion. Yes and no. I think that someone will probably file, because they were probably looking for the paperwork, and someone will file and say, okay, we can file the same thing that they had so that we can get that here. But there is an indifference. Well, what's the indifference? The indifference to me is Governor Landry wrote a letter and sent it to the White House, to Trump, and said, Dear Pawpaw, could you send us your people down here? We need the National Guard. And here's what we need it. We need it in New Orleans, we need it in Shreveport, and we need it in Baton Rouge. The three major cities that have the highest population of African Americans. And I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute. We don't see that that's discrimination? Can somebody file something about discrimination? I'm just saying. Galloway.
What's going on, Brother Gerod?
What's going on with you?
Hey, you just said somebody filed discrimination, right?
Huh?
What is your state representative doing? Troy Carter?
That's a congressman. So
can he file discrimination?
I think he should. I think he could.
Exactly. He ain't gonna do it. He's too worried about getting $38,000 to support Helena. But anyway, y'all talking good stuff today. What you got to understand, every state that ICE has been to, there's been a different response from black people, whether it's been Los Angeles, California, Charlotte, or Chicago. The black people in Chicago was not worried about ICE until ICE hit that apartment complex and had those black children half clothed in the back of their U-Haul.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that you're just going to be exempt, and it's not our fight, because the fight will come to you. These people are under federal, not state or local. They're under federal guidance. That means the state, parish police, or LSP, the NOPD, none of them can really tell them anything. It's a whole different ballgame.
So let me ask you this, Galloway, from a legislative standpoint, who in the world can stand up against them when you're talking about Trump deploying them, but you got hundreds of ICE agents, Homeland Security, National Guard, you got hundreds of them that are now going to these different cities, and it's like they're uncontrollable. The only person that controls them is the president. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do we always have to keep going to court to try to appeal these rulings and where they're sending them?
I'm about to say, you just hit it. See, the attorney, I think it's Attorney General for D.C. She actually won today. Using the deployment of the National Guard in D.C.
Right.
She found it was illegal.
Yeah, she said it was not legal. Yes,
but
she is a U.S. District Court judge.
Yes. But the thing is, there's no politician in Louisiana gonna stand up and tell this man he cannot do this stuff, or I'm gonna take you to court.
But the person that looks like they're standing up to him, that's one of the boy, I never thought I'd be able to say this. I'm probably gonna fall in the floor. I need you to give me the number to 911. But it looks like the politician that stands up against him right now is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I cannot sit there and say you're wrong, because listen. Every day that crazy woman says something. You remember that woman was talking about Jewish space lasers a couple of months ago.
She has been nuts since she got up in here. Her name should be Planters. Mm-hmm.
Nutty than a Benny Hill episode.
Yep.
I mean, every time she talks, she just play the music to Benny Hill. That's how that woman is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. People are so afraid to stand up and say something against him. She did it, and she's still walking around here.
And
now,
she went to the microphone and told everybody that she was getting death threats. But I want y'all to know, I'm not afraid. I'm still gonna stand with these women.
Exactly. You don't get that from the other side. That's what concerns me the most.
Mm-hmm.
You will get a bunch of interviews after something happens, but this woman, you got to give it to her. Much as I don't like her, that woman has said what she said, and she stood on all 10.
Yep. 10 toes
if
down.
you get, go ahead.
I know. I said she was 10 toes down. So yeah, you're right.
Exactly. And if you get at least 10 more of the politicians, maybe you can do it. Just like that vote on them Epstein files. That man knew he was going to lose it.
But on the other hand, Galloway, I'm the president of the conspiracy theory, so I got to look at this and just say that this to me is just as racist as any other stuff that I could probably put in here. And the reason why is because we've got all these different legislative folks standing up for him and saying different things and going against what Trump says, the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, then you had, what's her name, all these African Americans that said the same thing, and they can't even shake the ground. Now here come bad built body, whatever she is, that went against Trump, and now they got leverage.
Exactly. I'm telling you, they are so scared in their numbers. They are so scared. You know why? Because I'm going to tell you, it's called AIPAC. See, if you say something against that machine, AIPAC will cut your funding off. And a lot of politicians on the left and right, it don't matter to me, Democrat, Republican, I don't care about that. But AIPAC controls a lot of them.
But it looks like AIPAC, and I'm seeing this online as well, but it looks like AIPAC is controlling the Democrats more so on policy issues so that they won't have those issues to talk about. And it sounds like to me that AIPAC is literally going against what Democrats are saying, but yet the Democrats are taking that money.
Exactly. I was about to say, AIPAC, and you talked about Texas earlier. AIPAC was giving out money to the Texas Democrats that would not say that those maps are racially gerrymandered.
And guess who? One of the biggest Democrats on AIPAC's list.
Hakeem Jeffries is number one.
Hakeem Jeffries is number one.
Yes.
I'm like, how the hell are you going to be leading the way or supposedly leading the way, and you number one on AIPAC's list of bull crap with legislation? That to me is like bought and sold and paid for.
Look how long it took for him to stand behind the new mayor in New York.
Right.
It's way bigger than us. Now, y'all been saying it all day. Why isn't ICE coming to get people of Ukrainian, Russian descent?
Yep.
I keep telling people, living in Texas, everybody thought it was just Latinos and Hispanics coming across that southern border.
Mm-hmm.
You had Iranians, you had Ukrainians, you had Russians, you had Chinese. These people were coming across, and the first thing they did was turn on their cell phones. So these people were very well funded by, I don't know by who, but those folks from Ukraine and Russia, I have yet to see ICE go into Boston, I have to San Francisco, and especially go down into Miami. If you go down to Miami, those condos are down there. Most of them are Russian women, and this is not conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
They're Russian women that got pregnant, and they won't leave here because they want to have that baby to get that United States passport.
Mm-hmm.
You never hear conservatives talk about that stuff. They always want you to think it's somebody that's brown or black. You remember what they did to the Haitians when they tried to come across?
Right.
They took those I want to call them whips and start beating them back across the border.
Right. And then remember what Texas did to try to keep them from coming across the Rio Grande, and that was putting those big orange buoys along with that wire.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that if they're coming across the Rio Grande, that they cut them up and they're going to drown.
It was at least 4 people drowned doing that.
Yep.
And they actually went to court on that stuff.
Mm.
And my thing is, if ICE needs to be anywhere, it needs to be in Texas. Houston, the 4th largest city in the United States, probably has more undocumented, more illegals of everything you can think of. You got Chinatown in Houston.
No.
ICE, why ICE is not going down there? I keep telling folks, the 2 mass shootings they've had at the ICE facility has been done in Texas. The National Guard has not been mobilized, not one time, to defend Texas itself. They sent them up to Chicago, They got caught up in court. Now they finally send them back home. I think it's like 200 of them back home. So New Orleans, we up next. Now, everybody knows that ICE is not going down Dowman. They're not going down Chef Mentor.
Oh yeah, they are.
They got their little.
They going down there. You forget when you go down Chef Mentor, what's at the other end down at Chef Mentor, right?
On which side?
You got a little Chinatown.
You talking about the Vietnamese?
Yeah, and going out in the east. Yeah, they're going to get them.
Oh, yeah. They ain't going down there. No.
You don't think so?
No, I guarantee they could be up in Central City, Mid City, and around up in that area. I don't think that they are gonna go down there. But
I think they do because they intertwined.
Yeah, that's true. They do intertwine. That is true. But my thing is, Gerard, this is all about him saying, "You didn't vote for me. I'm going to make it miserable for you." And that's what he's doing. My question is, who's paying for all this?
We are.
The national.
Don't you remember that
again.
No. Don't you remember that for real? That there was a fund of money that was supposed to go do something else. I forgot exactly what it was. And they took that money and put it toward ICE. They even started making sure that they broadcast and let folks know we need some more ICE agents. We'll give you this a big $100,000 salary, but we'll also give you a bonus of like $45,000 if you come and be an ICE agent. That's our money,
Gerard,
Galloway.
Brother Gerard, you know what's gonna trip you out?
What?
How many ICE agents gonna speak fluent Spanish and can barely speak English?
Oh,
but they work for ICE.
The investigation on the ICE agents where you're supposed to have certain amount of education. You can't have all of these different record issues as a police officer or whatever. And they got plenty of them that have had use of force issues, haven't graduated, and they are more than likely related to somebody that just got them in.
Man, I'm telling you, Gerard, it's so weird and funny, man. But I keep trying to tell my Latino and Hispanic brothers and sisters, 40% of y'all voted for Donald Trump. 60% didn't. But that 40% voted in places, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, that really hurt. And we tried to explain to y'all that this was coming. Nobody wanted to believe, folks. They was like, "Oh, no, it ain't going to happen to my city. It ain't going to do this and that." Dearborn, Michigan. All these places where y'all sit there and voted or didn't vote, now it's coming back. New Orleans, this is being done just because we say we can. Like you said, Jeff Landry was writing and begging for this. Jeff Landry does not like New Orleans. Jeff Landry wants to be the governor of New Orleans, not the mayor. He wants to be the governor. He wants to control everything. And in my opinion, the city council you got in place now and the mayor that you got coming in, they're not going to fight back against Jeff Landry. And then the National Guard, who's paying for that? Is New Orleans going to pay for that National Guard weekend that they're going to be down here for Sugar Bowl and Bayou Classic?
We ain't got no money. We ain't got no money, so how we going to pay for it?
Maybe we're going to pay them in some po' boys. Or we can send them to Helena and that federal judge, and they go horse riding together.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You're so funny. Galvin, you're so funny.
All right, take it easy, my brother.
All right, my brother. Talk to you later. So I don't want to be the one that's on the radio all the time being Debbie Downer and saying what this is. But I don't see no good coming out of this. Do you see any good that's going to come out of this? Oh, it's going to take the crime to zero. I'm sorry. Did y'all say something? I couldn't hear y'all talking in the car to yourself. Because folks talking about this. And I want to make myself perfectly clear. To all my brown people, it was interesting that there was a news story on NBC News last night that the number of you have a plan in what you're going to do. You're not going to work no more. You're going to sit at home and hide. How long y'all think that's going to work? That ain't going to work. Is that your plan for real? You're going to stay at home and hide? And those Latino businesses that hire other Latinos, you're going to have a person that's standing outside of the store or standing outside of the business with a whistle. So when they come up rolling in their SUVs, they're going to blow the whistle and y'all going to run out the back door. That's the plan.
Don't y'all know they're going to be waiting at the back door for you?
But yeah, man, but I'm speaking a little legitimately on something else. And that is, dude, who in you all's culture got the balls to stand up to these dudes? Somebody got to. Because I ain't never seen something just run rapid and do what they want to do all day, all night, whatever day. And then they got a quota on you. 3,000. We got to get 3,000 of you. How many of you think they're going to get here? 3,000? Y'all remember something about New Orleans. And I'm hoping that everybody will remember this because it is the truth. As far as disasters that happen all over the world, all over the country, we found that the Latino population runs to disasters because they get paid to clean them up. When Hurricane Katrina came here, we had plenty of Hispanics to come here, live here, while they were getting paid to work for some of those companies, for some of those disaster companies. Well, guess what? They liked it so much, they didn't move. They stayed here. And that's what they're doing. They're doing it here. They did it in North Carolina. They did it in all these other places. So I'm trying to tell you, what's your plan? Because we'd like to know, especially if you're looking for help. Well, coming up, y'all, we got to take a break here. Everybody hold up.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by FidelityWealthManagement.com. All-time tennis great Serena Williams is channeling her competitive spirit into investing. But this is nothing new for Williams. Williams tells Bloomberg that being a part of business and finance was something she's carried with her through her playing days on the tennis court.
You know, it wasn't for me just about going out there and hitting tennis balls and winning. Obviously, that was the biggest part of it, but it was also really about being a business, being an entrepreneur. And at the time, when I was doing all this, there was lots of things and lots of people saying that you have to focus only on tennis, that you can't do other things, you can't have this other stuff, you can't be an entrepreneur, you can't think about other businesses, you really just have to do tennis. And I pushed that envelope and I said, you know what, that's not me.
Serena Williams speaking to Bloomberg at the American Business Forum in Miami recently. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Norman Robinson is back.
Can you hear me now?
And he's taking no prisoners.
Can you hear me now?
Each weekday, Norman Robinson brings you commentary with Off the Top.
The incident was shocking, disturbing, disgusting, disappointing, and sad.
Each weekday, Off the Top with Norman Robinson is heard exclusively right here.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Join me, Dr. Jaquil Ross of New Schools for New Orleans, for Talk That NOLA Education. This Monday, we'll be joined by NOLA Public Schools representatives to discuss the New Orleans Common Application for the upcoming school year. Be sure to tune in Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 1230 AM.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
We see the National Guard in D.C. city streets, but now President Trump is threatening to go beyond that, and it raises the question, can the president legally deploy the National Guard in other states? Let's get the facts. D.C. is unique. It's not a territory or a state, and because of that, the D.C. National Guard reports directly to the president. That means the president can deploy the Guard on his own authority without local leaders like the mayor's permission. It's different anywhere else. In the 50 states, governors have control of their state's National Guard, and normally the president can only activate troops if the governor requests or allows it. But as we've heard, the governors of Maryland and Illinois have pushed back on President Trump's threat. To override them, President Trump could invoke federal emergency laws, allowing him to deploy the Guard like in LA with the protests we saw back in June. But the laws are limited. The National Guard in these cases can only protect federal personnel, property, and functions. And in the case of DC, the Guard's official mission is to have a presence in hopes of deterring crime and to support immigration officials carrying out orders, not to enforce the law themselves. California is suing President Trump, saying that he overstepped his power deploying the National Guard earlier this year, and the outcome of that legal battle could determine how he uses the Guard in other states. In Washington, I'm Amy Lou.
All right, there you have it. We appreciate them for letting us use the audio here. That just gives you some idea of what's happening in Washington, D.C. So what do you think, though? Somebody said, good and daggone well that those organizations that are Latino-based are not going to give you their plan and what they're going to do. They've been talking about it on the news every day about what they're going to do, including in Chicago. All right, Dr. Shepard.
Yes, hey, G.
I knew at some point in time it was going to come out you. I knew it was coming. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I was calling because I'm so frustrated about the news that they're officially going to be here. But, we was expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said, I think at some point in time, we really got to look at what is going on. And I can tell you that I have heard some of my news friends have already told me that they've been here, but they've been doing intelligence work and going all across the city to see where they need to go. So the majority of them are not here yet, but there has been an intelligence squad that is here and still here.
Yeah. Also, I think when you said what are they going to do? Arrest 3,000 people. I think their target is 5,000 people.
Is it?
Yeah. I read on a news headline when it came out yesterday that their target was 250 agents deployed to over 2 months in order to be able to get 5,000 people, and it's going to be Border Patrol agents.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think, now you and I had this conversation, and I'm about to bring it up again because you didn't think I was right, that black folks should get involved with this?
Of course, because Border Patrol, Customs, ICE, National Guard, all of those things, all of them are not just deployed on Latinos. Right now, we consider that to be the target, but as Mr. Gallman said earlier when he called, or it was at Galloway, when he called in earlier, he talked about in Chicago where they landed on an apartment building, and that was about black people. So it's not like it only has one particular aim. It's on black and brown communities. Like you said, they're not about to go ahead and look at, Melania and see if she ever had an illegal state inside of the United States. They're not going to do that. They're not going to talk about Russian women having anchor babies. They're not about to do that. And with the Supreme Court ruling saying that they can racially profile people, basically, who look Latino in order to be able to make these arrests for people who they think are illegals, that also puts people who look like you, G, under suspicion. And also we know that we have Black immigrants from the Caribbean, Africans who are also with us. And those people, now this is where that distinction comes, is it's not just about whether or not the person is illegal or not. They've been making mistakes and had legal people detained. They had indigenous people detained for several days before they found out that the person was legal. And so the issue is not about the target of Latino people. It is about the fact that they are overstepping, using state violence in ways that spread terror and fear in our communities, and that it's one-sided. That is the issue. It's not about the target of, if you're Latino, you should be concerned, because there's enough gray area where Latinos who are legal are also under the gun. People who have come legally or who are who came illegally and have been at the courthouse making their appointments, trying to make sure that their paperwork is fine and go through the process, those people are being apprehended. People from the Caribbean are being apprehended. You know, they had an African immigrant who was a YouTuber. He was apprehended. So it's not about being illegal. That is just the story that they're using in order to be able to enter into our communities and spread fear. And so that's what I was trying to say then. People was talking about who the Latinos voted for and all of this other stuff, and it's like, that is not the point. The point is about state violence and state terror and how we have to push back.
But what is my point of spreading fear? For what? Why would I want to do that? Why is that seeming to be the topic of conversation? Because I'm showing folks that we're trying to be a certain type of community. What?
Well, no. One is that fear is productive. It is a form of control. It also forces you to have to redirect. So you either have to redirect in terms of finances, you have to redirect in order to be able to counter this assault. You then will stop doing things like pushing back against the government in one way or pushing back and demanding social services in one way. Why? Because we bring this other fight to you that you wasn't expecting. So now you have to pivot. So while you're over there fighting those boundaries, then we can assault you in other ways, right? It's about divide and conquer. It's about causing chaos and fear, because that is a mechanism for, one, war, and then two, also control. And so this is about war and control. It's not necessarily about even how many people they actually apprehend. And what we know about dealing with Trump is that he likes to use the courts. And so they're okay with, you use the court, it catches up with me months later. But right now, I'm about to go in and do this thing. And also, I said Trump, but what's been coming out is that Stephen Miller and some of these political strategists are the people who are actually pulling the strings. So not Trump, but him and his administration, they're okay with, we are just going to break out, do what we want, and let the courts catch up to us later.
And then,
right?
the other question I got for you with that is that will there be, with bringing troops and putting troops in parts of the, I guess the democratically controlled areas, am I now starting to try to start a war so that the next time that there is an election, I can say that we're not going to have one because I call martial law or something of that sort? Well,
Steve Bannon has said that they want to try to use different strategies to get Trump a third term. Now, I personally, because of his health reasons, I don't think he would make it that far. Okay, but I have heard people talking about they want to use unrest in order to be able to suspend elections. And right now, I wouldn't put it past any of them. As a matter of fact, Stephen Miller gave an interview where he slipped and said that the president had ultimate authority. Right, and that he really doesn't have to listen to anyone else. And what we also know is that Trump, he doesn't know what he signed, and they've had numerous instances where they're asking him about something he signed and he knows nothing about it because he's not the person actually putting together the packages of what it is that he's signing. He's not making the executive orders. So in many ways, it is, yes, they are using political strategy. I don't think that means that we shouldn't fight back, be strategic. I'm going to blow my whistle because I think I showed you that I had mine when I came to the radio station. So.
Yeah, I heard it too. Yeah, thank you. Here.
Okay. I wanted you to know then that I had my whistle and being strategic. And also, this is where we should possibly even have somebody on to talk about people's rights.
Yeah, I'm actually working on that with a couple of different Latino organizations. I got a couple of them I got requesting to see how this is going to work. But, of course, next week it's coming around real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I think that we're going to have some stories to talk about because of the fact that they're doing this, number one, holiday weekend. Number two, they're going to bring in ICE, HSI, Border Patrol. They're bringing in everybody that has military background. And I think that they've already been here to do the intelligence work already. I think that next week is going to be a cleanup week. And the reason why is because I think they're getting ready to clean up all these folks that don't look like them for all the different celebrations that's getting ready to happen from Thanksgiving, Christmas, and of course, we're getting ready for another Super Bowl. I'm sorry, not Super Bowl, Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl, right. I also think that it's important for us to say that I know everybody knows that we started to receive more of a Latino population after Katrina, but it's also important to say that during that time, they told us that the Latinos were going to start having roving gangs and that we would wind up seeing cartel activity inside of New Orleans and that they were going to come and bring crime and gangs. And it's been 20 years and we have not seen that from out of the Latino community who came and rebuilt. And in many ways, helped us to be able to rebuild the city, especially at the rates that it was that they were being paid at.
Right.
I mean, it was basically exploited labor to be able to rebuild the city, and they suspended labor laws during that time.
But you got to look at that. You got to look at the whole country. I mean, they've always had some type of suspension to labor laws when we see jobs that other cultures, meaning us and whites and them folks that are here, don't want to do.
Well, I would say I think that there were a lot of black people inside of construction after Katrina, but some of them didn't have the ability, and some of them might have even wound up being pushed out of the industry. But the idea is that even when they came, they told us that the Latinos were going to be criminal in the community, and they have not been. Not to the extent that they said. They told us that we would be ducking gang violence like Los Angeles.
I don't know about that one because I got to tell you, the Latino community was getting more work after Katrina than blacks were.
Right.
So I can remember having these conversations with different black organizations that had the folks bidding on contracts, and they raised the amount of insurance that these black contractors had to have just to get so they wouldn't be able to bid for some of those contracts.
Yeah, and that's also what I mean about them suspending labor laws. But you remember when the Hard Rock Hotel fell, the person who was the key witness that was speaking about how they were using exploited illegal immigrant labor in order to be able to build that hotel. He got on the news and he did an interview about it as soon as it fell. And within, I want to say, a week to a month, they had gotten him with ICE and deported him out of the country.
Yep, sent him back. They sent him back. Sure did. Because it was
Okay,
his
so
cousin. It was either his cousin or his brother that was one of the 3 that got killed. And he was telling them about, what was going on, the laws that were being broken, the number of folks that were giving them contracts or giving them some type of permit, and they did not. They did not pass the laws, and they did it anyway. And I think that's a lot of stuff that came around, when we start seeing that these buildings. I mean, just think about if they had built that building and today it was standing, but yet they had broke all those laws.
And additionally, that is the actual face behind illegal immigrant being imported into these areas. But the issue is that they're not going to talk about white collar crime. They're not going to talk about the fact that these mega corporations are the people who are employing illegal immigrant labor. What they're going to do is snatch people off of the streets. And that's how we know, just like the war on drugs, they weren't out for the people who were importing massive tons of cocaine. Chase Bank just got caught in 2018 importing 200 tons of cocaine into the country. That is not what this is about. It's not about the people who are actually perpetuating the crime. It is about snatching up black and brown people off the streets. Yeah. And we have to get very real about it and be very strategic with how we respond. And I want to make sure I say this, G. We have been trained to tell people that when ICE comes or border agents or whoever it is come to try to apprehend someone who they think is illegal, they can only be inside of public areas. They can't be in private areas. Now, we've seen some of, ICE has been breaking all kind of laws and rules in order to apprehend people, but it's supposed to be that they should be inside of public areas and not private areas. If they ever come and approach you in a private area, you should ask them to see the warrant, and it should be a signed bench warrant, not just paperwork, but paperwork that is actually signed by a judge before you even think about allowing them inside of a private area.
Well, I just know like right now, folks don't know, and we got to do a better job with teaching folks. Because that seems to be the, I guess, the stipulation that they're going to be able to break, and we can't do nothing about it because we just don't know. So we probably need to also have some of those folks that know the laws to come on and tell us about it. But my issue with now talking about these issues and everybody getting involved, I'm hearing a lot of black folks, though, and I know you don't want to hear this part, that are saying they don't think they need to get involved because they're not standing up for them. Black folks are saying, this is your issue. This ain't my issue. When I'm going to stand up for you when you don't stand up for us? And not only that, but you're the ones that voted for them.
Yeah, you already know how I push back against this. Number one is that if we're talking about Democratic cities, then Latinos are not the people who voted for him, not in those areas. It's like the same thing in L.A. In L.A., the Latinos did not vote for Trump. So, but he's deploying them there. And he might be deploying them there because they didn't vote for him. Like somebody else said, it's political repression. Yeah. But regardless of if you think you're the target now or not, just like people found out on the south side of Chicago, it can come straight to your door. And so it's not about the target. It's not about the Latinos. It's about state violence. It's about political repression. And it's about what they're doing now is beefing up the mass incarceration system because crime has been falling. So now they need a way to be able to still make money off of imprisonment. Right. They need a way to be able to make money off of war. They renamed themselves the Department of War. And so they're trying to figure out how to make a currency, how to get more money behind incarcerating people, how to get more money behind making and manufacturing and purchasing weapons, and about security systems and surveillance. I don't know how much people are paying attention, but their SWAT cameras have been going up everywhere. Yeah. Okay. And all of that is a breach of your security, and it should erode public trust. So this is not just about, we've been saying the same thing since the Patriot Law. was passed. This is not about, oh, if you're a bad person, then they're coming after you, or, oh, you shouldn't be illegal. This is not about that. As you allow them to do more and more, you give up more of your civil liberties, and sooner or later we'll all be inside of those dystopian novels that people have projected to the future. We'll be living in it because the one thing that made you allegedly Americans was privacy and this idea of liberty. And if you're willing to give that up, then we'll wind up falling just like any other country into the hands of a dictator and oligarchs and elites. You have to stand up. It's like your duty.
Okay. We'll have that conversation when we get back because this ain't going away. So we'll see what happens next week too. But I, of course, love the fact that you were listening today. So thank you much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, G, for taking my call.
All right, Doc, and happy Thanksgiving to you and the family. Tell your dad I said hey.
Okay, I will.
Thank you, baby.
Please.
All right,
You're welcome.
All right. Joe Nathan.
What's going on, Brother G? How you doing, man?
You know we had to call you Joe Nathan. That's it.
I know, man. Look, I would feel like I'm out of place if y'all didn't call me that, man.
How you doing, Doctor?
Man, I'm good, man. Just enjoying the conversation, man, as I'm doing every day. But I just had to call in because you said something that was very interesting, and all of your callers have been definitely on point with a lot of things that they just said or just spoke about. You brought up about what is the plan, and I'm interested to know what that plan is as well as far as the Hispanic community is concerned. If you take a trip over on the West Bank in particular, from Algiers all the way to Marrero, there's a number of new taquerías that have opened up.
Yep.
There's a number of, they're really heavy into the barbering business now. Okay? A lot of barbers have opened up. Okay? Hispanic ran barber shops. Okay? What is your plan? Okay? I would be interested, not that I'm saying that, you know, we as black people need to be involved and all of that stuff, but what is your plan? Because that lackadaisical not getting involved and kind of on the run and not being participatory in things, you need to have a plan because, and I bring that up because I was reading something a little earlier, and I know you're probably familiar with it. Are you familiar with the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution?
Right.
Okay. That means, and I'm sure other people have heard it before too, that federal law can supersede state law.
Absolutely.
And especially if they're in disagreement about something. Now, this appears to be something that's coming pushed down from the federal government down to state government. So hence, people like Landry getting in line with Trump and all of that stuff because they know that, okay? They know and understand that. So we're saying what they can't do, what they won't be able to do legally. People need to understand that there's a supremacy clause in the U.S. Constitution, and it will be used and utilized.
Right.
All of these politicians across the country, most of them nowadays are running on this platform of being tough on crime. The majority of them, that's what they're running on. This is a way, and the numbers show that crime has gone down, right? But this is a way to keep themselves relevant. This is why they're talking about redistricting and all of that stuff, to kind of get everything in line. And like the sister just said a minute ago, I mean, you're looking at this from a standpoint of we're on our way to becoming a dictatorship if we don't watch it. So, yeah, it would be interesting to know what is their plan, because their plan is going to have to work in concert with our plan and everybody else's plan who's traditionally been suppressed and stepped over in this country.
We're probably stronger together than this working in silos. So
absolutely. And my last point, you think about it, the civil rights movement, that just didn't benefit black folk.
Right.
More people that are not black benefited from that. Women benefited from that. Short people, for that matter, certain jobs used to wouldn't hire you if you were a certain height.
Right.
Right. So we really have to become more knowledgeable. That's why I'm thankful to what you guys are doing in the conversation that you bring up. You know, we call in and we clown a little bit, but we got to really know what plans are. And the Hispanic community, stop being on the run.
There you go.
Okay? If
All
that's
right,
what you're
Joe
doing.
Nathan.
Brother, have a good one, man.
Good to hear
Nice
from you, Doctor.
conversation.
And look, if I don't talk to
Yes,
you
sir.
before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you and yours, man. Y'all be blessed.
All right,
Thank
Doctor. More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
AURN News.
More than 100 million American drivers are being tracked on U.S. roads by Border Patrol's secret surveillance network far beyond the border, according to an Associated Press investigation. Using hidden cameras and license plate readers, federal agents are now scanning and logging every travel pattern with an algorithm flagging drivers for what they call suspicious routes. If your car gets flagged, you might be stopped by police, sometimes for something as small as a window tint or an air freshener. What drivers don't know, according to the report, is that these stops are part of a quiet system agents call whisper intel or wall stops, where the real reason comes from federal surveillance, not what's on your rear view mirror. This dragnet reaches into major cities like Chicago, LA, Detroit, raising urgent questions about privacy, profiling, and constitutional rights. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
While the city of New Orleans continues to wrestle with a $160 million budget shortfall, it seems citizens are left with no definitive explanation about who's exactly responsible for this financial mess. This fiscal fiasco threatened to leave city employees and vendors unpaid, and it sent the city council stepping to the state with hat in hand pleading for approval of a $125 million bridge loan to cover payroll. The State Bond Commission said okay, but the city leaders had to agree that the state legislative auditor would oversee how the city spends that money. I believe there should be an investigation by the state attorney general to get to the bottom of this mess to determine where the fault lies. There has been lots of finger-pointing. The council blames the mayor's administration, the administration blames the council. Sources with knowledge of city government tell me that the blame lies squarely at the feet of Mayor LaToya Cantrell and her chief administrative officer, Gilbert Montano, who, by the way, resigned to take a cushy job as chief of staff at the Audubon Nature Institute. It was only a month after Montano left City Hall that the deficit mess was exposed. Montano has a history where deficits are concerned. Before taking the job as CAO of the city of New Orleans, he held the position of deputy CAO and chief of staff for the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. That city had deficits of $24 million in 2017 and $40 million in 2018. While there were no conclusions about who was responsible for the shortfalls in Albuquerque, the record shows that Gilbert Montano was on watch. On watch as CAO here in New Orleans, Montano was the chief budget officer. The CAO is the budget officer named in the city charter, not the mayor or not the council. CAOs have the responsibility for development, oversight, and execution of the city's annual budget. As such, the CAO is held to be the authority in budget matters. Earlier this year, in testimony before the city council, the city finance office reported that cash flow was in dire straits. Montano pushed back, telling the council that things weren't that bad. Well, we now know that things were that bad, and even worse than we could have imagined. The question is this a matter of incompetence or malfeasance? We taxpayers have a right to know, damn it. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit RiseSt.James.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the Whole Water Stove, Pastor David Impartan Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
Every year, the lights return to City Park, and as if by magic, so do we. Families reunited, kids wide-eyed, old memories meeting new ones. Celebration in the Oaks is more than a holiday tradition. It is where New Orleans comes together to shine. Don't miss the magic. Make Celebration in the Oaks your holiday tradition and help City Park shine for generations to come. Go to celebrationintheoaks.com and grab your tickets before they're gone.
Uptown, downtown, wherever you are, keep it locked in to WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. Interesting conversation today. I'm glad to hear the intellect of our folks and what you believe, what you don't believe. Everybody got an opinion. Don't necessarily mean that you're wrong, because somebody might not agree with you. You never know. Might be the best thing to do. Look, I got a couple of minutes here before I get off. Let me make sure I get these things in too. There's going to be a turkey giveaway. It's going to be drive up only. That is going to be Friday, November 21st. That is tomorrow. That's going to be at 10 a.m. in Richard's Disposal Incorporated, Jug Social Club Incorporated, the crew of Namtok. All this is going to happen on Newton Street. That's on the West Bank, 1905 Newton Street. And you need to be there. We want to thank all of our folks that are doing all of this stuff too. So, and then don't forget, next Tuesday, the ladies of the ladies that are our, what can we call it? What did they do when they had the umbrella and stuff? What do you call that? The ladies that are out there with the umbrellas and the
Baby dolls?
Baby dolls. The Nola Lanas. They're going to be doing theirs on Tuesday. And that is going to be Tuesday. I put it on my website, on my Facebook page. I'm trying to get back to it so that you can see it too. But look, all of us know somebody that probably could use some help. And I'm just being honest. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are poor or whatever. They just need some help. So make sure that if you know somebody that needs some help, tell them where to go and make sure that you can help them in their plight to get something to eat. It's Tuesday, November 25th, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. At the Empire Room. Y'all know what Empire is? That's on Poydras, 2222 Poydras Street. That location of 2222 Poydras is more so near, I would say Poydras and Broad. That's a better landmark than to think you're downtown somewhere. Families will receive a free turkey, and the first 100 will also receive some of the trimmings. This is a drive-through event, and they made it clear. They made it clear that this is going to be a turkey per car. This won't be if you got 4 people in the car and you need one. No, it's going to be per car. So make sure that you are knowing what you're doing before you get there, so there ain't going to be no mess. They're providing free turkeys and trimmings for the first 100 folks. And they are limiting 1 turkey per vehicle. Just need to throw that in there so you won't have any issues. That is 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesday at 2222 Portrait Street. All right. I ran out of time. Oh, doggone it. I got to go. We'll be here tomorrow. The lady is going to be here tomorrow. The attorney extraordinaire, Suzette Bagnaris, joins us on tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you tell somebody and join us right here at WBOK.